Guys good to go?
Oh,
Thank you, George. You fellas ready? Awesome. Alyssa, that sign-up list, you're going to leave that out there until... Okay, perfect.
Oh, it was, okay.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the August Zoning Board meeting. I'd like to start with roll call.
Kevin Scully,
Present.
Zach Murphy,
Present.
Steve Thau,
Present.
and Aaron Hughes.
Present.
All right, we got our fire exits in the back there, and then two up front here. So if a fire breaks out, that's where you head. I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance now. Thank you, everybody. All right, normally we start with our public hearings, but tonight we're going to start with our new projects. They're a little bit smaller than the public hearings, so we'll get them out of the way. So we're going to start with 150 Valley View Ave, Francisco Martinez Garcia. Is anyone here for that? Nothing. All right. Start with our second one then. 10 Heaton Road.
Oh.
David's back. It's been a long time.
Hey, David, how are you?
Good, how's everyone? And this one might be even easier than some of my others. So,
I hope so.
my name is David Nimatko. I'm the architect for this project. I'm here for 10 Heaton Road. We refer to you by the building department because the existing conditions of the site and the house violate the zoning code. They're pre-existing non-conforming conditions. We're proposing an addition in the back which aligns with the existing house, and it maintains the current side yards setbacks, and it also maintains a rear yard setback. The building department rendered their determination, as was brought out on April 8th. The lot area doesn't comply. Lot area needs to be 15,000 square feet. Ours is 7,748. The lot width needs to be 85 feet. Ours is 51.65. The side yards need to be 15 and 40, or a total of 40. Ours do not. They actually total 15.4 feet. So we're here asking for 3 area variances. If I could describe the project a little bit, I think we included an A plan in our submission to you. It's a bedroom, an addition in the back, as I mentioned earlier, with 3 bedrooms, a master and 1 and 2 bedrooms. It's a single-story house with no basement, so they're just looking to expand in the back. Actually, the addition footprint somewhat replaces the existing patio that was back there. Not exactly dimensionally, but pretty close to it. The addition is 15 by 40, and it's consistent, again, with the house. I did prepare another attachment. It was not included in our submission. If I have your permission, I'd like to pass this out. The purpose of this attachment is to show that the existing house, along with the new addition, is pretty consistent with the context of the rest of the neighborhood. We pointed out many lots 10 to 11, maybe even 12 lots within that general area that are of the same size or less in area, and as a consequence of that, the houses already violate the zoning code because of pre-existing non-conforming conditions. As was this house, along with many of the others in the area, it was built in about 1950s, predated that portion of the zoning code, so we're asking for your consideration of the 3 area variances.
Thank you for that rundown. Yeah, so it seems like you have 3 pre-existing nonconformities here. Your lot size, your lot width, and your side yard. This addition does not change any of that and doesn't cause any more zoning issues.
Correct.
We're on the same page. Okay. You guys got any questions about that? Nothing? Okay. Yeah, seems like a straightforward one. Move this to a public hearing? It's not 500 feet within Chester, I don't believe, right?
No.
If there's any comments from neighbors, either for or against the application, we can certainly hear those. I didn't see any material in the submissions. Was there anything from any neighbor?
Not to my knowledge.
Anyone here to speak on that? There you go.
Perfect. You guys want to take a vote on this then? Typically, we take it to a public.
Oh, this is the first time it's on?
Yes, typically.
yeah,
I was going to say typically.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
my
yeah.
apologies, yes.
Learning curve.
We haven't gotten the notifications
Yeah,
yet. We haven't gotten the
Right.
mailing. We
Okay.
need the
So we'll
the
move it to a public
notification
hearing.
to mail out.
Forgot this is new business,
Okay.
yes.
Sorry about that.
So-
We got excited.
So was I. This would have been great.
This was going to be quick. I was trying to go for a
Record.
record with you here, David. But okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that. All right, so motion to move this to a public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. See you next month.
So we'll get the notifications so we can mail them out. Okay, thank
Let's
you,
work
everyone.
out.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
All right, next one up is going to be 112 Mercury Court. Nice to see you.
Hi.
How are you?
Sorry, I'll wait for the mic. I'm good, thanks, and yourself? Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to my appeal.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I built a garage on my property, extended my,
Can you state your name, please?
oh, sorry about that, Louis Della Peruta. We built a garage, 14 by 24, on our property and extended the driveway to reach it. The building department, then they came down to do the inspection, told us that we exceeded the 20% allowable non-permeable surface by 6.45%. We've put in the application, we meet all the side yard and rear yard and front yard requirements as per the building code. We don't distract from the neighborhood. In fact, we enhance it. We don't impact any of the water, the runoff. The runoff stays within the property boundaries and does not affect anyone any further. I did bring copies of the survey as well as a panoramic of the houses in the
We'd
area.
love to see that.
Can
Thank
I
you.
just, thank you.
Thank you.
The garage is on the left side of the house. The boundaries are within, as I said, the confines of the building department requirements. We did have the inspections. The inspections did pass for all of that. It just did not pass for the non-permeable surfaces. As you can see from the panoramic view, there are other photos within the package submitted to you that it shows the actual garage. It is in compliance with the visual aesthetics of the property. It does enhance the property. It enhances the neighborhood with no impact. I don't know what else to, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, I don't know what to say.
Oh, you've told us a lot about this, and I appreciate that.
I did write up a narrative that's within the package that kind of explains everything in detail of what we did, how we did it, and why we feel would like to get the variance.
Want to hand those out, or is that,
Oh,
we already have those?
It's in your package.
Yeah, I already have those.
Yeah.
I thought there was
I
something.
didn't make enough copies.
No,
to-
thank you,
to do
that's all
that.
right. So just to go back over this again, you've added a breezeway between your garage to your house. Your
Yeah.
house was originally under the acceptable amount of lot coverage. Now it's slightly over.
Correct.
You had the permit to do so, but you didn't have the approval from the zoning board yet, sort of a miscommunication type thing here. The other pre-existing condition would be that your lot width should be 100 feet and it's 75 feet, but you purchased a lot like that, we can't change that. Would you mind if I came by for a site visit?
Please,
Okay, thank you.
absolutely.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I see in your application, under the question, explain briefly why the difficulty in complying with applicable zoning has not been self-created. You say the garage was installed, built, and then the driveway was enlarged? I just want to
It
be,
was all done at one time.
okay, yeah, I just want to be clear. You were the owner when?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely, come by.
Thank you.
Do you need me there when you come by? Because I'm,
Whatever you'd prefer.
Nope.
You can give your information
come
to,
on
she
by.
probably
As
has
long as
it.
it's accessible, the back.
it's accessible.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to go breaking in.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I did a drive-by on that one,
Okay,
and it's very accessible.
okay. Appreciate that. So is anybody else here to talk about that? I don't think so. So you want to move this to public hearing? All right, motion to move this to a public hearing?
Is that the next meeting?
Next meeting.
Next meeting. Yes.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So next month, you'll come back, and I will get a hold of you within the next couple days to come out and see the property really quick.
Is there anything I need to do?
Alyssa will
Speak to
describe
Alyssa,
everything
you'll
to you.
send out the notifications. Next meeting is on September 22nd.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good to
Appreciate
see
it.
you. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got it. You can
Closer
sit
up.
down. Thank you so much. George, say when. They're gonna be in your lap. I
That close enough, George?
All right.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll make it personal. That's good.
hope everyone brushed their teeth.
All right.
So that's all of our new projects for the night. We have 2 returning public hearings. I'm going to call up 190 Cromwell. Oh, Garcia. Okay, perfect. Oh, that works. No. Sorry about that.
And this is
is-
Valley View?
This is 150 Valley View. Could you just
Okay.
state your name into the microphone?
James Dillon, Land Surveyor.
Thank you.
Representing the client, Garcia.
Sure.
Garcia.
Could you just give us a little bit of a background on what we have going on here?
Our client has, what he would like to do is put a proposed addition over an existing screen patio. And the current bulk, he doesn't conform to these setbacks. And a lot of them are non-conforming. You know, it was pre-existing non-conforming. So he's looking for a few variances. One is the side yard, side, rear, and front yard. That's what the building inspector recommend, you know, even though they are pre-existing.
They're all pre-existing.
All pre-existing.
Yeah. That's really it. They just want to expand their house.
So essentially, down in the idea, we would be paved in, or a screened-in porch.
Yeah.
And putting in just a room.
An addition,
In the
yeah,
exact
in a room.
same spot, almost the exact same.
Exact same.
Okay.
Yep.
Would you mind if I came out and took a look at it? Just the,
Yeah.
okay. Just gotta ask. those
I'll let
things.
him know.
Okay. Yeah, and I can
Yeah,
talk to Alyssa about it.
Is there currently someone living in the house?
I'm sorry?
Is there currently someone living in the house?
Yes, he's
Okay.
living there now.
No change in the footprint.
I think the only, I needed to know lot coverage.
I put it on
Table here.
Table?
15%. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Then that's really all the information I needed to know. Did you guys need anything?
No.
This is a bit redundant maybe, but I just want to be clear. So in terms of where the new addition would be, as I understand, it's basically the screen patio, but 2 inches smaller or so on one side, right?
Yeah, the house, we really gave the offset to the existing house. So when we, instead of jogging it and making a straight wall with the addition, it came 2 inches a little shorter than the existing. So we didn't have to jog the house at all.
It's actually short, 2 inches.
Yeah.
Not even
well,
extending over.
From the sideline. yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Everything really is the pre-existing, it's just
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
addition brought it all up. Okay. I think I heard everything. You guys need anything? All right, so I think we should schedule this for a public hearing at the next meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, when is that?
We'll see you at the next month's meeting in September. Alyssa can give you all that information.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very much.
All right, on to public hearings. Let's start with 190 Cromwell Hill Road. It's been a while since we've heard from you, so we'll go over the whole rundown quick.
My voice, I apologize.
That's all right, that's all right.
Good afternoon, my name is Josh Dembitzer. I'm representing Mr. Joel Brach, 190 Cromwell Hill Road.
Good to see you again.
Likewise.
So if you could just give us a rundown on what we have going on here, just for everybody in the crowd and everybody at home and the guys up there.
Sure, so we had built a shed in the back of the property, which you guys should all have on your document, and we went over the variance.
Just speak up.
Yes, I'm sorry. So we went over the variance when we built this, and we did not have a permit fit. So the town came to us, and they told us basically, what we have to do. I should go to the ZBA and see how we can take care of this.
Yes.
So I've been back and forth over here, as we know, and I sent out all these letters that I was supposed to send out that they gave me, and now I'm back here at the public hearing.
Okay, perfect. So essentially, we had a shed that was too close to the neighboring property.
Correct.
It was about 3 feet away, needed to be about
Correct.
5. And then you had a lot coverage issue because there was a lot of pavers and pavement.
It's not pavers, it's blocks like.
Blocks, yeah.
But still non-permeable.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So we can't really move the shed, right? The shed's in the spot.
Correct. I think we checked it out.
Yeah, so now we got to kind of worry about the lot coverage.
Correct.
So what are you thinking on the lot coverage? Do you have a plan in mind on what you would like to do, on what you want to kind of bring up to us?
So we did discuss a couple of these locations. We have like patios, small patios. If maybe we could remove those and put the seating in there and let the grass grow, maybe that will soak in. I mean, I believe that's what we're looking at over here.
Okay, so moving some of the pavers is the idea at the time?
Correct.
Okay. Like I said, you can't really move the shed, it is where it is. Is there anyone in the crowd tonight who would like to speak on this? If you don't have anything else? That's,
Let me just ask real quick,
Hold on.
on your survey, which patios would you consider moving or removing?
So I would like to discuss that with the homeowner himself
okay.
as well.
Yeah, because we don't have a set plan yet, so we can't
Right.
really move forward with
I'm
the
just
idea.
looking at your survey, we're just trying to get an idea of how we can reduce that lot
Yeah.
Sure,
coverage.
sure.
Yeah, and I think we were in agreement that, the pavers were kind of the easiest thing for the fix, so
Correct.
once you come up with kind of an idea for us and let us hear it, that's kind of what we're looking for here.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Is that all you have tonight?
I guess.
I'm going to open it up to the public then for a little bit. All right? Thank you.
Good
How are
evening.
you? Good to see you.
Mark Lundy, Maple Avenue, Monroe.
Okay.
Totally agreeable with that. The only thing I would stipulate is that whatever lot coverage has to be removed before a permit is given or before the zoning is given.
Sure.
That it would be checked to make sure that is removed.
Everything will go through the proper channels on that one, for
Right.
sure.
That's all I have.
Awesome, great, appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys. I'm going to leave this public hearing open until we kind of get a plan here.
Yeah.
So we will be back in the September meeting. Oh, you got a quick, yeah.
Portable one like the Amish make with wood floor, or is it concrete?
Come right up there, and then just state your name and, and just leave it open.
Mike Andrizzi from Monroe. Just, is that a portable shed that it could be moved? You know, where you got it from the Amish? Well, is it a cement?
It's pretty much in the ground where it's not going anywhere. It's on a pad.
And how big is it?
How big is the shed itself? It's a normal size shed. It's not anything like larger. It's not like a garage. It's just a shed where you
Okay,
would keep.
that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And the only other thing is, did I hear him say he built it without a permit and now he's trying to fix
What,
it?
what they were trying to do originally was they were trying to put a deck in, and they needed the permit for the deck, and then this is how this all popped up. So it was more of like, they purchased this house a few years ago, this was sort of the condition it was in, then they came to try to make an adjustment, and then these things popped up.
Okay.
They don't always pop up when you purchase a house, and then you kind of get stuck in a
No, I
scenario.
just didn't know if it was one of those things where you do what you want and then you
So-
try to get forgiveness afterwards.
So to answer your question, the shed is 200 square feet.
It's a big, it's not your little Home Depot shed. All right,
No, it's a little bit bigger, but it's
Yeah.
not a garage, it's still shed-sized.
all right, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak on 190 Cromwell?
I just want to make sure that when we get another survey, it'll be clearly marked on what will be taken out.
Yeah, when you come up with a plan, that's okay, Josh? Yeah, because we're going to need that bulk table filled out fully, same way as before. Appreciate it, Josh. All right, the last one of the night would be the Planning Board of Appeal for 45 Route 208. Anybody from the Planning Board here to talk? Okay, hear you out. Good to see you guys again. What do we got this time?
Hello, ZBA members.
How are you?
Hi, good evening.
If you guys could just state your names for the record.
Yeah, Adam Rod of Drake Globe on behalf of the Town of Monroe Planning Board.
And Bonnie Franson, Chairwoman, Town of Monroe Planning Board.
You have
So,
the floor.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I believe, the third public hearing, if I'm not mistaken. On behalf of the Planning Board, we submitted some additional materials for the board's consideration tonight, specifically with respect to the owner's claim that the appeal is not timely. We pointed out that under the town law, which is a state mandated law, the time to appeal is 60 days. So even if you were to consider the operative date for the appeal to be September 10, 2025, when the subject land use determination was made, our appeal, which was initially filed on November 7, is clearly timely and within those 60 days. And the other point, again, as a supplement to our prior submissions, in the GB district, a bus depot or a bus storage facility is not listed as either, excuse me, a permitted use or a special permit use. And under basic rules of zoning interpretation, when you have very specific uses listed in a particular district, any uses that are not specifically listed are deemed to be excluded. And here, as the board is well aware, in the GB district, there are several diverse uses listed as permitted uses or special permit uses, and a bus depot is not one of them. And as an additional point, the drafters of the zoning law were certainly not oblivious to the notion or the term of a bus depot. Specifically, they did make reference to that term when describing uses for a bus passenger waiting shelter. And under that definition, it says no authorization for a building permit shall be granted by the planning board for a bus passenger waiting shelter unless the board shall first determine that such use would not operate as a bus depot or bus station. So, I mean, clearly if there was any intention that such a use would be either be a permitted use or a special permit use in the GB district, it would have been listed for that reason as well. And finally, and this is a point that was made repeatedly, the owner of the property has not disputed the nature of the use that's set forth on their own plans. That is, they have a plan for 29 parking spaces for cars, and the same plan has 29 bus spaces. And the owner has not disputed that in terms of the operation of the property, what is entailed would be for the drivers of the buses to drive their personal vehicles to the property, get out of the personal vehicles, go to the parked buses, take the buses off the lot, run their routes, return to the property, park their buses, leave their buses overnight, get back in their cars, and go home. That's a bus depot, and it's not a permitted use in the GB district. So we feel there are very strong, compelling grounds to nullify the land use determination dated September 10, which indicates that what is proposed is a permitted use. We respectfully submit it's not.
All right. Bonnie, do you have anything to say?
So just quickly, I did hand over to the ZBA secretary certified mailings. It was a little unclear to us whether that applied in our particular circumstance with the determination, but we did send around by certified mail the notice of the public hearing. That was number one. Number two, I did reach out to the county commissioner just to make sure that GML review, general municipal law review, is not required in this instance, and he agreed with that. Because that's, again, in your law. It's a very old law, that section. It's from 1969, so there's just some old things that aren't part of the current modern process, but we wanted to make sure we reached out. And then lastly, we also submitted an affirmation from our planning board attorney at that time, Ashley Torrey. She's still our planning board attorney, but she had been out on leave. And we asked her just to put the affirmation together because I have been communicating that I heard bus depot, that was the use. I just wanted her to also submit, evidence that she also heard that clearly that is what the applicant had stated. So it's not just me saying it. Our attorney heard it. So that's it. I don't know if you have any more questions. I know we have a public hearing going on, so
I don't
wanna
have any
necessarily
questions
extend it.
personally. Do you guys have any questions here?
So I have some information that might be informative in case anyone wants to ask questions based on it. So first of all, you might remember we had some question about are there other bus depots anywhere in Monroe? People mentioned the school bus garage, so I reached out to the zoning board of the Village of Monroe, and they, it turns out that is in the Village of Monroe. They explained it is in an SR20 district, and the reason is because it was built in 1950 and the zoning code was adopted in 1990. The second is I believe I may have mentioned that there's something that appears to be a bus garage next to the bridge between the Village of Kiryas Joel and Monroe. So this would be sort of across from the police barracks, but on the other side of Orange Turnpike. It turns out that's actually a used auto sales shop, but it specializes in large vehicles like buses and vans, and it's actually zoned light industrial, so just a follow-up on my own questions from last week. And the only thing I would ask is, so you very specifically wrote in this line about not having bus depots in general business. Can you just go into, why we've got permits for, parking lots and auto service stations, but you wanted specifically to exempt bus depots from that being a permitted use?
Well, I don't want to exempt it, it's just not allowed. So there are automotive-related uses that are permitted there, but one that's specifically not allowed there is a bus depot. If the intent had been to include it in the GB zone, it would have been identified in the use table. And as was explained by our attorney, if you look at the construction of the zoning law, there is actually a reference to, when you talk about a bus passenger shelter, that in no way is that intended to be a bus depot or, I believe, a bus terminal. And by construction of the law, by virtue of the fact that they explicitly said those terms, you can conclude that if the drafter wanted to allow a bus depot, they would have said that. In fact, when they defined bus passenger shelter, they in fact stated, and by the way, we don't want a bus depot here.
So I understand that. I apologize if I was unclear. What I mean to ask is, I'm looking for an explanation of the motivation by that. Why did you want to write bus depot? Why did you have bus depot in that specific provision, that these should not be allowed as a possible special use permit, whereas it would be if it was a passenger terminal?
The code was rewritten in 2017. I'm trying to remember if the GB zone at that time, I think, allowed bus passenger shelters. I don't think it allowed bus depots at that point in time. And then the former town board, if they had wanted to add bus passenger or bus depots or bus terminals, they would have explicitly said to include that as a use in that zoning district, and that is not where they went.
Questions? All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here from the property itself who would like to speak? How are you, sir? If you could just state your name.
Good, how are you?
Good.
My name is Aaron Warner. I'm an attorney from the law firm Zarin and Steinmetz, here on behalf of the property owner. So this proceeding tonight is for a very discrete zoning text interpretation. The question before your board is not whether this is a bus depot, it's actually whether the building inspector's interpretation, determination that the proposed use is an automotive service station is valid. The facts before your board are straightforward. The proposed building has bus bays and an office which are devoted primarily to the automotive service station use, inspecting, maintaining, servicing, and repairing buses. The buses would be parked overnight in designated accessory parking areas, and like we heard from the planning board, the bus drivers would park their cars in the parking spots during the day while the buses are in use. No passengers would be picked up, dropped off, or otherwise accommodated at the site. There is no passenger waiting area or bus shelter area proposed. Your code under section 57-3 defines automotive service station as a building or lot or part thereof devoted primarily to fuel dispensing, repairs, servicing, washing, or reconditioning of motor vehicles. Buses are motor vehicles, and the proposed building on the lot has a garage and office devoted primarily to servicing buses. This includes daily cleaning, servicing. The bus drivers, when they return with the buses, have to go into the office and fill out service notes on how far they drove, what condition the buses are in, what preventative maintenance and servicing the buses require. All of these things would happen on a daily basis. It's clear that this plainly satisfies the definition of an automotive service station. The building and part of the lot are devoted primarily to servicing and repairing the buses. The parking is permitted under accessory parking in the GB district. There's nothing in your code that restricts overnight parking of buses at an automotive service station. And there's also nothing in your code that restricts the bus drivers from parking in those parking spaces while the buses are in use during the day. These facts support the building inspector's determination. Calling the project a bus depot does not change the use that is actually proposed by the applicant. Your board must interpret the code based on the functions proposed, not by any label created by project opponents. The planning board supplemental letter dated today is illustrative of the core misconception regarding this project. The supplemental letter highlights zoning code section 57-13 for the proposition that bus depots are not permitted in the GB zoning district. Section 57-13 is the individual standards for certain uses. The only place the phrases bus depot or bus station appear in 57-13 is under 57-13 section F. These are the individual standards for bus passenger waiting shelters. It says that no authorization for a building permit granted by the planning board for bus passenger waiting shelters shall be issued unless the board determines that such use would not operate as a bus depot or a bus station. It should also be noted that your code does not actually define bus depot or bus station. The proposed use is an automotive service station. It's not a bus passenger waiting shelter. Your code does not define bus depot or bus station. There are no passengers that would enter the site at any time, and there's no passenger waiting shelter area proposed. Therefore, that section of code, which again is for the individual standards for certain uses, namely the bus passenger waiting shelter area, does not apply to the proposed use that's before your board. In fact, Section 57-15 has individual standards for automotive service stations. Section 57-13D specifically, you will not find a requirement that the planning board make a determination that the use would not be a bus depot or a bus station. There's no other requirements under that section, nor need there be that determination because the proposed use plainly fits the textual code requirements for an automotive service station. In response to the other issues that were brought up by the planning board in their most recent supplemental letter, as well as their other previous letters, I'd like to refer, we've been before your board several times now. We've submitted several letters in support that I think discusses the timeliness of the application, as well as the fact that the property owner has been consistent with the proposed use. Lastly, I'd just like to bring up a point that was brought up by tonight, which is the automotive sale correlation. That proposed use is identical to that here. An automotive sale store has a garage, has an office, has parking around that building for ancillary parking, which is an accessory use in the GB zoning district. That use is similar, if not analogous, to the proposed use here. I'll just conclude with a determination by your board in line with what the planning board suggests is not supported by your code, and it's frankly leading you down a path that we believe would be susceptible to legal challenge. So for the reasons that we have provided in our previous letters, as well as being discussed tonight, we would respectfully ask that your board deny the planning board's appeal, uphold the building inspector's determination that the use constitutes an automotive service station use with accessory parking. Thank you.
Do you have any questions on that?
No.
something to clarify about the auto sales place. That isn't zoned general business. That one is zoned light industrial.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa, do I have a list of who's on? I have it here. 2 pages, all right, a 2-pager. No, it's 1 page. What's this one?
Yeah, that should be read.
Doesn't need to be read. It's in the record.
Okay, okay.
Actually, if I may, just a couple ground rules. I know there's a lot of people that want to be heard on this, and you will be. If you've submitted written materials to the zoning board in advance of tonight, rest assured, your letter is part of the record. You don't need to reiterate it or read it into the record. Because there are a lot of people here, we do ask that you be considerate of the fact that a lot of people want to speak. You don't necessarily have to just stand up to repeat things that have been heard. Consider it. And also, just please note that this is an opportunity to be heard. It's not, you can express your opinions, but it's not an opportunity for you to ask questions of the board. This is not a back and forth conversation. This is an opportunity for the public to make statements, not to ask questions of this board, and certainly not an opportunity for the public to inquire directly of the applicant or the planning board. That's not the purpose of tonight's forum. Oh, and also, I should just add, if anyone is here to be heard on the proposed building moratorium that has nothing to do with this board, please keep your remarks specific to this public hearing, which is about this particular application by the planning board.
All right. You guys know the rules now, so I'll start calling you up one by one. You got a couple minutes to come up and state your piece. Like David said, it's not like a question and answer. It's more get it off your chest kind of situation. So I'm going to call you guys up one by one, starting with Susan Pendergast. Did I say that right? I think you stand at this one, yeah. Yeah, if you could just talk into it real quick to see if it's on.
Hello?
It's on, there you go. If you could just state your name when you come up. And
Yes, Susan Pendergast. And do you need my address or no? 28 Tofanic Avenue, Monroe, New York. I understand, because tonight's meeting is, the issue is, the issue at hand and responsibility of the zoning board is to make determination whether this project, as it is presented tonight, is a bus depot or a auto repair shop. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so it is presented tonight as a bus depot or, as Mr. Mann's attorney states, an automotive repair shop with an accessory or secondary purpose of the bus depot. The location is 485 Route 208 and is part of the GB zoning district, which does allow for an automotive repair shop, but does not allow for a bus depot. I bring my car to an automotive repair shop for repairs. I make an appointment, I drop my car off, and I pick it up when it's ready. And of course, I have to pay the bill. Specifically, a bus repair shop is for the repairs. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see. Here, we're talking about not only repairs, maintenance, washing of 20, 29, or 30 coach buses, which will be parked on the premises, dispatched, and make runs between Brooklyn and KJ. I believe from the last meeting I attended, this is going to take place between 6 a.m. and midnight. This requires space for not only the buses, but for the drivers and their personal vehicles when they come to work each day and drive the buses. Okay. Keep in mind, please, that this projected site location is adjacent to Twin Lakes that sit between Route 208 and Orange and Rockland Road. These are my concerns. I'm concerned about the contamination of the water by fuel spillage. Number two, the contaminants from water runoff that will be used to wash those buses. contamination from salt that will be used on the property during the winter months, which if we have a heavy winter, there's going to be a lot of salt. Also, most coach buses have bathrooms. What about the disposal of waste? That's a big concern. Where will that go? Traffic. The traffic on Route 208 is absolutely horrendous now. I travel on Orange and Rockland Road to the YMCA. Commuters use the park and ride near the bike trail. What will they be forced to endure, traffic-wise, to get to and from the park when they ride to and from their homes every day? Air quality. Fumes from 30 diesel coach buses will be a significant health concern, especially if the buses are idling in a confined area or near homes, schools, or people for an extended period. Diesel exhaust contains fine particulate matter, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and other air pollutants, which have been associated with cancers and people with asthma. It could be really dangerous for them. Lastly, the noise of the buses and how that will affect surrounding businesses and those living nearby. I don't know, you call it what you want, but in no way can this project be considered an automotive repair shop. It seems more like a metropolis to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Susan. Next up is Kathleen Bayer. Sorry about that. Sorry. I took a risk. That was... Oh, they can sit at the table. I'm sorry.
It's up to you.
I prefer if you sit
wanna
at the
stand
table.
or
It's
sit.
nothing to do with you. It's just
You might be off camera, we're having
Yeah.
some.
We're having some camera issues, so.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Bayer. I live at 446 Round Lake Park Road in Monroe. I'm relatively new to the area, about 4 years. And I come from the city, and I guess one of the, New York City. One of the things that makes me worry is as Susan mentioned a little bit, is the air pollution. The impact on children especially is very severe. You know, only look to the Bronx to see evidence, conditions of ongoing running buses and the areas where cancer, I forget what they call it, cancer zones for lack of a better word. But that's a big concern of mine. I'm also very concerned about the pollution, the noise levels, and the other, I'm just going to say I concur with what Susan said. I really don't think our community needs a bus depot, and I don't think we need to support this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. Up next is Jonathan Streeter. If you could just sit at the table, because we're having a camera issue here tonight.
Okay.
Thank you very much. If you could just state your name as well.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan Streeter. I am one of the 10 families that owns the Twin Lakes Water Ski Club, which abuts this property on 3 sides. The property is otherwise abutted by highways. We own the 26 acres next to it. This is a 3.3 acre parcel that they propose to put the bus depot on. I am here on behalf of those 10 families. Several of them are represented here today. Jenna Voss, one of the 10 families, REA Lazarus, another one of the 10 families. We water ski in the lake, we fish, we kayak, we enjoy nature there. I understand that what this hearing is about is essentially there is some dispute about sort of a technical legal issue, and I sense, having watched the last hearing and this hearing, that you are being called upon to exercise a little bit of discretion to possibly say there's a gray area here in the law, and are we going to fill it by doing something in favor of the property owner? And I want you to understand the impact that doing this will have on the neighboring property owner, namely us. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to put into the record and show you some pictures of what is there. I'll show you a picture of what the site looks like. I'm sure you've all seen it from the road, but to see it from where we are, to see some pictures of it, I'm going to show you a couple of surveys to see where it sits and explain to you what a profound impact putting a bus depot right next to this water ski lake would have on us. As the first person who spoke, we may not be able to use it anymore if it's contaminated by fuel or salt or washing buses or air pollution. We swim in that lake right next to where they propose to do this. And I want to hand up some pictures so you all can appreciate it. I only have one copy of several things. I have 5 copies of other things, so I apologize for that. First picture I want to hand up is of the actual site. I heard the last hearing. I watched it on video. I couldn't be here. One of my co-family owners was here, Mr. Lazarus. That is a picture of the site. That's the thing that someone mentioned as a ski chalet. That's what's there right now. It's a nice home with a small swimming pool and a bunch of trees on 3 acres of land. This is another picture of it. This one is a similar vantage point, but what you see there, that little speck you see there is our water ski boat, and right next to it is one of our water skiers who's just fallen in the water right in front of the place. I can't even imagine being able to water ski there if there's fuel and grease and salt and all these things running into our lake. It will completely destroy our usage. The next thing that I want to hand up, and this I do actually have multiple copies of, is this is what the property owner has submitted as their plan. And what I've done is I've put a yellow highlighted line on the border of the lake. So what you see in those pictures, we're water skiing right by this yellow line. We are in the water 10 feet from this yellow line. And this is their plan. And you can see when you look at that, that the parking lot is literally feet away from the edge of the water. I personally, if I look at the picture that I sent you, I don't even know how they're going to do it. This is going to be a massive construction project. They're going to have to take down every tree on the property. They're going to have to build up the land to make it flat. It's a steep hill right now, you can see from the picture. They're going to have to do a massive amount of earth moving. I can't imagine what that's going to do to our lake. Not to mention the kind of visual difference this is going to make in terms of what we see there, putting aside that, all these other health issues. But it is right next to our lake, and there's no way they can put a bus depot anywhere else. This is a small piece of property. The next thing that I want to hand up is I want to hand up a survey that shows our property and their property I've put in yellow highlighting, and the rest of what you see here is our 26 acres, and the yellow highlighting is their 3 acres. And you can see that it is going to be impossible for them to put a bus depot on that piece of property in any way that doesn't involve massive construction that will interfere with our property, fuel, grease, salt, bus wash. It's just not possible. It's not a big enough piece of property to do that. I've heard talk of putting in buffers. I heard the town supervisor say maybe we can negotiate and leave the house up. Look at the survey, not doable, not possible. They're going to have to raise every tree on the property, go in there with bulldozers, move a ton of earth. That alone is going to do tremendous damage, and it's going to change the whole aesthetic. You can see also from the picture that this is a kind of a nice, beautiful site with trees and a lake and things like that. I've got one more picture I want to hand up, which is actually of the larger of our 2 lakes. We're called Twin Lakes. We have 2 lakes that we water ski in. This is just a picture that I took a couple of mornings ago of what the site looks like. I can't even imagine if you were to sort of plunk a bus depot in the middle of that. It will destroy the aesthetic. It will It will change it radically. And so if you're considering exercising your discretion, and the last thing I'll hand up is something that's already in the record, which is a sort of a above ground or above level view of the two lakes. And this is already in the record. I believe that they put it into the record. This is, you can see on this, the two, if you look at this, these two lakes are our twin lakes. If you turn it sort of, I guess, put the writing on the bottom, these are our two lakes. We water ski in these two lakes right here, and we fish and we kayak and we do all these things. And their property is this right here. So they're proposing to basically raise the trees here and put a bus depot right there next to these two lakes. It is going to have a profound impact, and if you are considering, if there's any part of this where you're thinking that you can exercise discretion, possibly to expand, you're thinking about the code to benefit a property owner, I'd ask you to please consider that that exercise of discretion will have a profound negative impact on other property owners, namely us. We've been good members of this community since 1988, when the Water Ski Club was established. We host tournaments, we bring business to the area, we are happy to kind of contribute and help in whatever way we can, and we are deeply concerned that this will basically destroy our use of the property. I'll stop there and answer any questions if you have them.
Really appreciate that. I don't think we were answering questions, if anybody had any that they needed to. But we really appreciate that, all of those documents. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Streeter. Up next is Iris. How are you? No, sit right down there. That's perfect. Thank you. If you could just state your name for everybody.
Okay. My name is Iris Conk, and I'm at 44 East Crossman Avenue in Monroe. I disagree with the bus garage being built at the ONR Lake. It's not an appropriate place for a bus garage. There are wildlife whose habitats and homes are there on the land and the water. They should not have to deal with the homes being polluted, with their homes being polluted from the buses. Also, that's an area of recreation, which that man just was saying. Also, that's where the food truck festivals were. We had that a lot of times, and it's like a recreational place. You can't just pollute it like that. I don't think there's any reason to have a bus garage there, and 208 is very congested as it is. So I don't think that it's necessary, and it's especially not a good place to put a bus garage.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, let's shut that one off.
Maybe if you kill that one.
Thank you, Iris. Up next, we have Dory Houle. Thank you. You could just state your name for us.
Hi, Dory Houle, Village of Monroe. You've heard some really good comments tonight, and a lot of really good points have been brought up. Points that are directed toward the environment, points that are directed toward traffic, points that are directed toward wildlife, points that are directed toward water, points that are directed toward recreation. And these are all really, really important things. But this is not what your task is. Your task is to take a look at this project and to determine whether or not this is an automotive service station or if this is a bus depot. And even to clarify that a bit more, what you need to determine is what is the principal use, what is the most important use that this particular project is going to show. And to kind of highlight that, I want to talk about some of the homes that are in my development. For many years, we had a lot of small kids, and a couple of my neighbors had daycares in their homes. And so a portion of their home was dedicated to a daycare. It had changing tables, it had porta-cribs, it had toys, it had classrooms with little tables and chairs and books and libraries and arts and crafts things. And it functioned as a daycare, a portion of their house. But their home, their property, the principal use of their property was not a daycare. The principal use of their property was a residential home. The daycare was an accessory. The daycare happened sometimes. It didn't happen all the time. It happened sometimes. That's exactly what we're seeing with this property. This property will have garages, yes, and there will be repairs done to those automotives. There will be washing of those automotives. There will be offices for administration. There will be bays and there will be other facilities to take care of these buses. But that is not what is going to be happening on the regular with this project. On the regular, there will be buses stored in the slots overnight, and on the regular, bus drivers will arrive at this property, they will park their cars, they will get into one of those buses, they will remove that bus to run a route, and at the end of their route, they will return it back to this place, whatever you want to call it. That is the principal use of this property. When you take a look at bus depots do not require that passengers enter the buses at that location, nor do they have to leave the buses at that location. Passengers can be picked up anywhere along the route. So what will be happening on a regular basis at this facility will be buses leaving for the day and then returning later on in the day. And that will be happening every day. That is a bus depot as a principal use. That is not an automotive repair shop. An automotive service center or an automotive service, whatever you want to call it, that is an accessory use to the principal use of this property. That is what you need to decide, and that is the decision that you need to make, is to discern what is the principal use of this property.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dory. Up next is Mike and Drizzy. Good to see you again. Sit if you can. Thank you.
I don't know if I could top the last couple of speakers, but I'll try. First, is there a traffic study, or there should be? People, since I've come here, or moved here 29, 30 years ago, you could really see, anybody who lives here, that it's very hard to get into the YMCA. You got to cross over, you got to wait, nobody knows stop, go. They actually have buses stopping, they have their lights on, nobody knows if they should be able to go or not. So that's just an example of how the area has grown. The concern is extra traffic. It is near the highway. 208 is, from when I came here, just totally changed. A lot of traffic on a single lane road. So the entrance to the highway is a concern. These big buses, you know, he said between 29 and 33, but you know, it could vary, you know, so that's a concern. During the peak commuting hours is a major concern. 208, Pia Trotman to get, people that are currently living in Monroe are trying to get in and out of Monroe. Now you're adding just more traffic. And I feel there should be an environmental study, not to be repetitive, but just to make sure. I don't think actually anybody said that, because it is near the water. Did anyone ever take into account the amount or the impact with the amount of building and development that's going on in South Bloominggrove that has to head up to 208 as well? Again, that wasn't like that 5 or 10 years ago. So all of a sudden now you're adding that huge development. Every time you drive by, you just see a tremendous amount. When you see the amount of building that's going on in other developments, I'm not picking on anybody, just a fact. When you see town of KJ, or whatever the correct term is now, town of Palm, just when you go along the highway, everybody says, what's going on over there? It's just a tremendous amount of building. how can we handle more and more and more? And especially, again, the size of the buildings. Again, I'm not picking anybody, but when you look at like, well, I'll get into that. So approximately, where's the driveway going to be? You know, that's a concern where you're going to have entrances and exits. Are you going to have one going in and one going out? A lot of times when I came here, there was a lot of courtesy. You know, everybody waited, everybody pulled over. Now it's so congested, and, you know, all you need is one bus to pull in front and just screw everything up, you know? That's all it takes is one. The applicant was very vague and kept changing his story and tried to conform, meaning just to say, oh, it's this, but it could be that, but no, it's this. He was very, very vague, didn't answer any questions. The number of spots changed, the number of buses, it's an office, it's not an office. Again, he was very, very vague. So again, just to reiterate, as people said, the number of spots, the drivers, the buses, how many spots are needed for the offices? How big is the offices going to be? So nobody ever took into account, we clearly never really brought that up, but tonight it was brought up several times. So if you have 33 buses, you're going to have 33 drivers. So right there, you need those spots. Then how big is an office? And then how many spots do you need for the mainly, this, he said originally, he changed the story and said this is going to be mainly an office. It's going to be an administrative. So you have 33 spots for the drivers. You need spots for mechanics. And then you need spots for how many people in the office. So that was never rectified. I brought up in the past about what about the scenic vista? And people challenged me and said, I might have been here or the planning board, but it said, it's listed in the comprehensive plan. So clearly, as this gentleman here, which was a great speaker, showed you photos, you're going to change the whole demographics of that. You know, they bought it there. You should consider, people have a right to build, but you should also consider all these people that bought here and how it would clearly change, you know, what his purpose is. I'm just curious, again, not picking on any particular person or whatnot, but when you approve something and you give all kinds of variances, people here tonight, oh, I need 3 variances, I need this, I need that. That's people that lived here, and they felt they bought the property, whatever, and you're trying to do the right thing. But what happens when you give a variance, and let's say for religious exemptions? And again, not picking anybody, it's the only way I could give an example, such as the bathhouse on 105. And now it's for sale. So you built this big monster building. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like across from the
Bathhouse, you said?
On Freeland Street?
What is it? It's the on 105, and it's right across.
I think it's still Freeland Street, it's the Village of Monroe still. It's before
But
the
I'm just,
bridge.
yeah, but it's my point. I'm not trying to, it's not pointing fingers. I'm just using that example. They asked for variances, they asked for religious exemptions, they got it. Big, massive building, tremendous amount of parking, and now it's for sale. What, now they don't need that building anymore? So what happens now? What can it be used for? So that's my concern as you start to approve projects. Yes, you're trying to do the right thing for neighbors. We all, you know, as you said, you need to try to give variances, little things, a couple of feet here or there. But again, what happens if you approve this and then somebody just decides to change it because it's already approved? I have seen numerous times, for example, my wife said don't bring it up, but I think it's important. On Larkin Drive, when you're going to and from Home Depot, Lowe's, again, I'm using 105. You'll change the wording, what is it, 105 and Larkin?
Freeland Street.
So Freeling Street. So right there, I've seen numerous times school buses just stop and let adults, not kids, adults get on and off. What would keep that from happening with this type of thing? The lawyer is very good. I guess that's why people use lawyers, to be able to change the wording after the applicant kept fumbling at his last thing. And he emphasized that the buses will be going back and forth. You're not taking care of somebody in the community. He said those buses will be going back and forth to Brooklyn. So you're taking care of a whole different city and area, and I feel that that's why it definitely is. It's not a local repair shop. It clearly is a depot when he said these buses will be going continuously back and forth to Brooklyn. And if you go down 105 at the light, I'm ending, all right? I'm almost done. If you go down, again, I'm using 105, but the only way I can explain it's single lane, tremendous amount of traffic, and when you get, again, not picking anybody, it's just the only way I could explain some major stress points is probably the best terminology I could use. Major stress, and they can't handle the traffic now. By KJ and the town of Palm, by that traffic light, and then you're turning to go into that major, whatever you want to call it today, it's a single lane road, and all you need is one person who's not courteous, and they just block everybody, and it just locks the whole road down. And that's the example. Anybody who lives here knows exactly what I'm talking about, and that's my concern if you approve this other project. We don't want this to happen where, again, if you approve this project as compared to the others. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Up next is Allison Priest. How are you? Good. If you could just state your name before you...
Sure.
Thank you.
Allison Priest, town resident. I'm very concerned about this garage and bus depot, especially after hearing the neighboring people that live around the lake. I'm very concerned about the diesel, the oil, the gas, and the other harmful chemicals that are harmful to the lake during rainfall and the snowy season when the salt is used. The air quality of these buses and the noise pollution, the traffic would greatly impact this quiet, scenic area and cause great risk to the environment, ecosystem, animals, and people that live around the lake. Please consider all of these factors and do not let this bus garage be developed in this area. There are ample bus areas already available. There's commercial land already blacktop that would not be affected like this body of water. Larkin Drive, Round Hill Road, 208, where American Fitness is, where buses are parked, that could be expanded if needed. These areas are suitable for multiple buses and will not affect other residents of the town as much. It just makes sense to utilize areas that have been already maintained for buses. Also, why don't we build this bus depot in Palm Tree? There's also a sound ordinance that is an issue. In the town and the village, during the week is 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. On Saturday and Sunday is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And you're stating that these buses are going to run till 12. So right there, that's a discrepancy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Allison. Up next is Mark. How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah. Mark Lundy, Maple Avenue, Monroe. This whole thing's a travesty. I can't even explain how anybody would even conceive to buy a pristine piece of property on a lake like that, that's been home to like these guys water skiing, fishing, kayaking, to put a bus depot. And these guys can come up and talk all they want. It's an automotive repair shop. Okay, so let's call the place where they picked them up an auto stop then, shall we? It's a bus depot. It's not an automotive repair shop. Let's call it for what it is. You're gonna have in-ground fuel. You're gonna have waste taken out of these things. You're gonna have antifreeze, very toxic. You're gonna have salt. You're gonna have grease. You're gonna have oil. Not only from what the mechanics spill, from what leaks out of these buses, and don't tell me they don't. I've seen it my whole life. And anybody in this town that would condone or even stand up for someone that's gonna put something like this on a pristine piece of property like that shouldn't be in office here. I'm telling you right now, it's a travesty. And anybody who would submit plans to build something like this, To go down to that lake as a kid, I fished, I used to hang out, watch these guys water ski for years. And now you're gonna walk down there to this beautiful lake and say, hey, let's put a bus garage. How does this building inspector sleep with himself at night? That he gave them a land determination declaration to build there. Thank God that our previous administration caught it. I can't even imagine what would have happened. And now they're complaining about not giving them enough time. That was 30 days, should have never been there as far as I'm concerned. And I'll do anything I can. I'll be here every day. I'll watch everything they do. And if it ever did go through, I'll pay to have the water tested. And to watch these guys, it's just, I can't even conceive it, that someone would even think to put something like this on a beautiful lake like that. And believe me, I know what's going on because I live on a lake that same thing's happening. So I think everybody here is with me, and like I said, anybody that would condone it, anybody from this town that would say, hey, go build your bus garage on O&R Lake where these beautiful people ski and swim and kayak, out of your mind. Should never happen. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lundy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lundy. Carol's up next. Carol Hawkser? All right. Got that one right. All right. Good to see you tonight.
Good evening, everybody.
If you could just state your name.
Yes, Carol Hawkshurst, Monroe, New York. I hear all the speakers tonight and echo all their concerns. The environmental impacts are significant. There's so many negatives in how this will impact our neighbors and our town. I know it's a question, bus depot, service station, regardless, you know what's going to happen. A lot of speakers have spoken tonight, and including the attorney. We have a pretty good sense of what that's going to look like. To have a bus depot by a beautiful lake, I mean, we're known. This is the lake region, right? It's right behind you. And we need to preserve that. We need to preserve that. To consider sacrificing the beauty, tranquility, and quality of life of our community by putting in a bus depot is just, it's not good. And, you know, I was thinking about, you know, I'm echoing obviously a lot of what a lot of people have already said. There's already a significant amount of traffic in the area. And adding this bus depot will only increase the traffic burden on residents and our existing roads. It's right by where people go in and out of Route 17, which a lot of people travel outside of Monroe to go to work and travel 17. There's already, as people have already spoken, a lot of congestion in that area already. I've lived here all my life, and of course there's going to be change, there's going to be growth, there's going to be development, but let's make it smart. You know, going from Route 17 in Monroe onto 208, I feel like the cars are going to be so backed up. I come close where I'm sitting on 17 and worried that I'm going to get rear-ended because the traffic is going back so far. And I know it's not as close to where this is going to be, but it's not far. And I just want to say I don't support this project at all. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's the end of the list that I have here, I believe.
The 2 pages.
Zach, I also wanted to put my name at the end of the list when the speakers are done.
Yeah, come on back. Just for a minute. How could I say no?
So I apologize if I'm repetitive, but the important thing is this project, as the town supervisor previously said, stewards and trying to help people develop their land. But this belongs in an industrial area. It doesn't belong in this scenic vista Lake region. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, Mark.
So hi, I just wanted to
Is there anyone else? I'll leave you
participate.
for that.
Oh, sorry.
Is there anyone? Sure, come on up and state your name and say your piece.
Broke my foot this summer, it wasn't good.
Don't rush, take your time.
Okay, so what I'd like to say is this.
If you could just state your name for us.
My name is Jean Colonna, live in Marlboro. It's gonna be almost 40 years. And for over 40 years, my husband and my father-in-law had a trucking business. When a truck needs maintenance, it's taken out of service. It's not making runs to Brooklyn. So to say this is a maintenance garage, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. We're gonna have 29 buses there and they all need maintenance, so who's picking the people up? I mean, this is just semantics. Trying to get it passed. One thing that really bothered me was the attorney who came up here, to me, when he said town could face litigation, it sounded like he was trying to intimidate us into not being able to say how we felt. I don't like to be intimidated. It actually makes me angry. So I feel like I have the right, pay my taxes, plenty of them, to come here without hearing Mr. Mann's attorney say, there could be litigation. Okay? That's what I want to say.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Gene. Is there anybody else out there? Sure, sir. Oh, we got two. After him, I'll have you come right up. How are you, sir? If you could just state your name when you sit down.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Gerard
much.
Walker, I live in the Village of Monroe. I've never passed a repair shop where I saw the same 28 vehicles in there every morning. And if I did, it's not a repair shop, or they got terrible mechanics. You know, this whole thing is ridiculous. It's a bus depot, and
You could just speak into the mic
yeah,
closer. I'm sorry.
it's a bus depot. It's ridiculous to call it a repair shop. And if it's going to be servicing people in KJ to bring them to Brooklyn, they should put it in KJ. It doesn't belong down here.
Thank you, sir. Anyone? No, you had two. No, you had two. Sir, could you come on up? Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. If you could just state your name when you sit down.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for coming out.
Okay, you're welcome. My name is Joseph Simone. I'm a resident of Monroe for the last 25 years. I travel that road there. I have a dog also. There's a dog park fairly close. Now it's just like the congestion. It's really just dangerous, especially by the gas stations or on 208. I'd really like the board to all consider, take 5 years from now, given the growth and everything, are we looking at? I mean, it's just, I can't even perceive on a single lane road what's going to impact. And for me, I've used that road to get to work in Westchester for 15 years. And I can't even imagine what the residents in the area and what's the impact is. So I'm just asking you to consider, look 5 years down the road, what that's possibly going to encompass, along with that bus garage, just everything. And that lake, the Twin Lakes, I've passed it, seen the people there swimming and kayaking or whatever. And I would just ask you to please look down the road, look down that road 5 years from now and see the feasibility of what you're considering. All right? So thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Gotcha. Is there anybody else out there?
I just want to note, but quick point of order.
Hold on one second.
Just quick point of order. If you spoke at either the February or the July public hearings, it's all the same public hearing, so your remarks are already a part of the public record for this. There's no need to restate anything that's been said before.
Come on up. One more. That's it. One more.
I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, this is not to pick on anybody, but previously, the town supervisor, and this is not a quote, this is the concept. She had mentioned to me and to the board and responsibility and whatnot, and this is, again, not word for word, we're not in court, but it was something to the effect that we can't stop people from building, we have to try to help them, and they have a right to develop property basically any way they want, or something to that effect. So you get my concept of
Can we do
somewhere
a
along the way
point
what
of
you
order
said.
and actually control the meeting for once?
It is being controlled.
This is the
I got
third
two
time
sentences.
that
I got
this
two
person has
sentences.
come up in a public hearing that's limited to 5 minutes
But
per person.
you do have a
Supervisor
responsibility.
Richardson, I understand your concern.
Hold on
but
one
just-
second, sir. Hold on.
I understand everyone's concern. Just let him finish his point. We
So
have plenty
we
of
do
time.
have
We're not
a
going anywhere.
responsibility, or you guys do have a responsibility, specifically with zoning. The same with the planning. The planning feels it's very important. That's why they're appealing it. And you have a right to whether to change it or not. And you might say it doesn't concern, but think about what I'm trying to say. We would never put a smoke or a head shop or a go-go or a strip joint by a school or church, and therefore you shouldn't put this by that lake. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir. Do we have anybody else out there that needs to get something off their chest? All right, come on up. 30 seconds.
Heck, we don't do public hearings.
This is how we do the public hearing. We let the people talk. If they want to get this off their chest, this is what we're here for. I'm in no rush. I have nowhere to be but here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Not a problem.
I actually want to bring up my concern for a conflict of interest with our town supervisor sitting here.
This is a public
Please don't call out from the audience.
Point of, Mr.
Please do
Chen,
not call out from the audience.
Mr. Chen.
I
Please do
wasn't
not
trying to get
call out
them.
from the audience.
But this is a point of order
Supervisor,
now,
please
and
do
this
not
is a
call out from the
public hearing
audience.
for the town of
Guys,
Monroe that I've
Supervisor,
expressed
please
that
do
I
not
would
call out
also
from the
like to
audience.
participate
Thank you.
now.
Okay, guys,
And the
guys,
zoning
listen.
board has invited two
Excuse
people
me,
to come up and
excuse me,
criticize
please.
rather than allow me to
Excuse
speak.
me. I did say at the beginning that the purpose of this public hearing is to comment on the application that's before the board, and that's not this. I'm sorry.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying, I just want to point out, he said we could express any concerns, and I appreciate...
About this application.
And I
About this
appreciate your approach. I just feel like there's before she speaks, I just want to say it's a conflict of interest.
I will advise the board on any potential conflicts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Guys. All right, okay. I appreciate everybody coming out to speak. Everybody gets their chance to speak, and everyone got their chance to speak except for this gentleman right here. This gentleman right here can come on up. No more re-speaking, though, for the rest of the night. Just new people, and we appreciate you coming out here to give us your take.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in response to a query by Mr. Hughes, something to be reminded of. Great deference should be given to those who write the legislation. A question was posited to the planning board chairman. She went back and reviewed the history prior to 2017. If I'm correct, she helped write the new comprehensive plan. When she put in that section and that statute, and she's interpreting from her legislative position what a bus depot is and is not, should be given great deference when making your determination as to the 5 reasons once you pass the boundaries of if or not the planning board has standing before this board. So I suggest you go back and look at the legislative intent and give it great credence when you make your determination. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else in the audience who needs to say something? I don't see any hands, so I'm going to let Supervisor Richardson come up and speak. Now, everybody was given their time, and they were all courteous, so please hear her out and let her talk.
As a citizen and an elected official, I have the right to speak at public hearings.
Certainly do.
And there have been a number of complaints by residents who, by the way, I don't think that everyone understands the functional difference between the boards. So obviously, as members of the zoning boards, you're aware of what the decision is. It's been stated correctly at a number of junctures here tonight. The overall complaints relating to the planning board, such as traffic and everything that has nothing to do with the zoning board. There are inquiries as to why we would allow such projects, and that's why we have a liaison. That's what I've always witnessed in the town as functionally good about the communication and the input from another member of the board, which we've often actually even had at the dais in other boards and other cases. So I wanted to just weigh in on the comments that the zoning board can't necessarily respond to, and also just place it on the record on behalf of, the cohesive of, I've been speaking with the planning board chairwoman today and other days, members of the ZBA in their personal and professional capacities, members across the town, including the building inspector. So as both a full-time staffer, but also an elected, I have the unique, perspective that I do. And to address some comments here tonight about why would the town ever entertain such a project, and the concerns, especially from the skiing company, which I definitely share, and we actually as a town had been told you were moving on yourselves. I wanted to share that when this zoning was done in 2017, it's called the General Business District, and you guys can find this on the Building Department tab on the Town of Monroe website. So what's allowed there under principal permitted uses right now under our current code, which is all that we can entertain, we do not entertain projects on a case-by-case basis, but as people have correctly mentioned, when they fit these permitted uses or special uses. What's allowed at this lake with no additional protections for those who are marking concerns about the environment, fuel, oil, everything like that, what's currently allowed there is an automobile sales with accessory service facilities, including a repair shop, a bank or savings and loan, retail, personal service, laundry and dry cleaning, a park, newspaper or printing establishment, offices, restaurants, taverns, drive-through restaurants, workshops, studios, shop for custom work, hospitals, general shopping center on sites only when it's 40,000 square feet or more. And special uses include bottled gas distribution center, an animal kennel, bus passenger waiting shelter, as we discussed, indoor sports facilities, except a shooting gallery, automotive service stations, as we are debating, that is under special use permit. There is, again, a hotel, public utility building or structure, an indoor movie theater, a pistol range, a daycare center, and again, a vet hospital and animal center. So this was never appropriately zoned. In my opinion, as both a resident and a town board member, when this comp plan was done, I just consulted the planning board chairwoman, because this project, again, because you're the zoning board, but for the public and for the record, it's just for you guys to decide whether this is a permitted use for zoning. And then this project, no matter what happens here, if it were approved, or any project is approved in this capacity, it would then, under these regulations, have to go in front of the planning board. Unfortunately, it looks like they wouldn't have any additional prohibitions on, as someone from the water ski came up, on the distance between the watershed and these uses, which makes no sense, because in our comp plan, we did identify that watersheds should be protected. So it doesn't even look like there would be additional protective regulations. And none of these uses that I just read aloud, I don't think any of them would satisfy the neighbors. All of them would have a crowd here tonight protesting that that was inappropriate. I walked the property. The comments about drainage, slope, like basically digging out and leveling out the property for this particular use, and any of those listed uses would be absolutely correct. And unfortunately, there are no wetlands there to say, okay, this is prohibitive under the state or local protection. So again, there doesn't seem to be any additional layers protecting it. And I don't believe that this site, we only have, Bonnie, is it 3 GB parcels in Monroe? Total of 3 GB parcels in Monroe. I don't believe that any of them share this parcel's composition. Again, my opinion is that this was inappropriately zoned from the outset, and that's a town problem, because then once government entity gets into entertaining this kind of application, we are stuck evaluating it to the letter of the law, as we've previously mentioned. My support of the chairwoman has been obvious from the get-go, as the town board chose to fund her appeal and support that appeal, because she has the right to bring that appeal as any other section of the board. So again, I understand where the zoning board comes in. I understand where the planning board chairwoman is coming from, and we've supported her in bringing this appeal. And I also see how the building inspector made the land use determination that he did in his capacity with the way this code is written. So the entities relating to the town are dealing with the technical nitty-gritties every single day. We have to be fair, and that is the zoning board's discretion, which I was asked of the town board, could we take this on? And I said, no, the zoning board has got this covered. So whatever they decide, that is what we said. We'd not want to make a change in that. We've discussed that both publicly and privately, that this is the zoning board's purview as the tribunal, unless some kind of zoning change application comes before us. But in my opinion, this was a problem with the original administration filing this as GB in the first place. This parcel should never have been listed as GB. It's a terrible location for any of those uses. And unfortunately, we are here arguing highly technical, outdated code that it doesn't look like anyone put a lot of foresight into our watershed protections here. So that's it. Thank you for your time and attention to these matters. And on the matter of public hearings, as a resident who has been attending town board meetings and gone and submitted public hearings for the last, 5-6 years, every resident is supposed to get 5 minutes, and especially for public hearings, they're supposed to be limited. They're supposed to be limited in scope and topic and respectful to the town and the residents in the room. And we are not allowed to invite people up 2 and 3 times, particularly for public hearings, because this is different than just regular public comment. This is supposed to be a sacred government function, so that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Supervisor Richards. I appreciate that. I did call you and Mr. Mann up multiple times last meeting, though, so I just want that to be known, that I am not showing any bias here. I'm just letting everyone get everything they have off their chest. That's what we're here for. I mean, there's no reason not to let them come back up and talk. There's no reason not to let you come back up and talk. I got plenty of time. I'm here all night. So I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight. I appreciate Supervisor Richardson for coming out tonight. This is not something that needs to be a dispute between the community where it tears us apart. We got different values, and we're going to talk it out, and that's what we're here for. So I appreciate everyone coming out, and I appreciate everyone being civil, and that's the bare minimum. So I appreciate everyone. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the crowd. I especially appreciate the guys for coming out tonight as well. So.
I'd just like to point out something. South Blooming Road, you're not allowed to no public speaking.
And that won't be the case here, sir. That won't be the case here. There will be public hearing. There should be always a public hearing. Now, the public hearing seems to be coming to an end. We have no one else who needs to talk. I'd like to take a minute here. I think Steve's in the same boat, maybe?
I'd like to make a motion, actually, while the public hearing is still open, to take a quick adjournment so that the board can have attorney-client conference.
I think we're all done on the night, though, sir. I'm sorry. I mean, what do you have here? Yeah. Okay, good, that's what I thought, okay. All right, so we are going to take a minute here.
Should I get a second on that?
Yeah, it's gotta be-
Second. Kevin,
I'll second the motion.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll be
Take a
right
real
back,
quick
guys.
break, guys.